African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the Special Military Operation as of April 16, 2026. Over the past 24 hours, in response to Ukraine's terrorist attacks on civilian facilities in Russia, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out a massive strike with long-range precision air, ground, and sea-launched weapons, as well as with unmanned aerial vehicles against the facilities of the defense and industry involved in the production of cruise missiles, long-range and medium-range unmanned aerial vehicles, and the fuel and power complex of Ukraine used in the interests of the armed forces of Ukraine. The targets were defeated, and all the assigned facilities were neutralized. The North Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. Manpower and hardware of a mechanized brigade and an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine have been hit near Kondratovka, Mariupol, and Pizarevka in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv region, units of 2 mechanized brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine and 2 territorial defense brigades have been hit near Zemlyanki, Izbitskoye, Nikolskoye, and Pokalyanoye in the Kharkiv region. The enemy lost up to 145 troops, 12 motor vehicles, an electronic warfare station, and 7 ammunition and materiel depots. The West Group of Forces improved the situation along the front line. Russian troops engaged 3 mechanized brigades, an air-mobile brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade near Gorokhovatka, Druzhlyubovka, Novosibirsk, Senkovo, Studenak, Chernyshina in the Kharkov region, Ilyachovka, Krasny Liman, and Mayaki in the Donetsk People's Republic. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 190 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 17 motor vehicles, and 3 artillery guns. 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. The South Group of Forces took more advantageous lines and positions. In addition, strikes were delivered at manpower and hardware of 4 mechanized brigades and a mountain assault brigade of the armed forces of Ukraine near Veryalubovka, Ilinovka, Konstantinovka, Krivaya Luka, Nikolaevka, Orekhovka, Popasnoye, and Seleznivka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost more than 145 troops, a U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 6 armored fighting vehicles, and 16 motor vehicles. An electronic warfare station and 10 ammunition and materiel depots were neutralized. The Center Group of Forces improved the tactical situation. 2 mechanized brigades, an air-mobile brigade, an assault regiment of the armed forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades have been hit near Belitskoye, Dobropoli, Zolotoy Kolodez, Kucherov Yar, Novogrigorovka, Novonikolaevka in the Donetsk People's Republic, Novopavlovka, and Novopodgorodnoye in the Dnepropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine losses amounted to up to 340 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 2 motor vehicles, and a Grad MLRS vehicle. An ammunition depot was destroyed. The East Group of Forces continued advancing to the depth of the enemy's defenses. A mechanized brigade, 2 assault brigades, and 3 assault regiments of the armed forces of Ukraine have been hit near Kolomytsi in the Dnepropetrovsk region, Vozhbyzhivka, Kopani, Lyubitskoye, and Timashevka in the Zaporozhye region. The enemy has lost more than 195 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, and 8 motor vehicles. The Dnieper Group of Forces inflicted losses on the manpower and hardware of an armed forces of Ukraine mechanized brigade and a territorial defense brigade close to Orakov and Preobrazhenka in the Zaporozhye region. More than 40 troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, and 12 motor vehicles were neutralized. Operational tactical aviation, attack UAVs, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian groups of forces have inflicted damage on a container terminal, armored vehicle parking areas, ground robotic systems training sites, temporary deployment areas of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 154 areas. Air defense systems shot down 5 guided aerial bombs and 270 fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the enemy has lost 671 aircraft, 284 helicopters, 134,449 unmanned aerial vehicles, 656 anti-aircraft missile systems, 28,923 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,701 MLRS combat vehicles, 34,455 field artillery guns and mortars, 59,507 units of support military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.